Hey guys, how you going? So today on BKRsport, we are back for another one of these NRL tier makers. And today, guys, we're going to be doing the 5/8. And we've actually been getting this question a lot, as in people have been asking, when's the 5/8s coming out? You know, people obviously love what 5/8s bring to the game. You know, they're not necessarily, I guess, the direction. Usually I feel like you probably look towards your halfback, but the 5/8 is a little bit more enigmatic and moves around quite a lot. So I feel like people really appreciate that vibe of the position, and that's probably why people have been asking so much for it. But today, guys, we have Adam. He's unfortunately a Broncos fan. How you doing, champion?
Good, brother. How you doing?
I had to throw you in, mate. I had to throw you in.
That's all right, mate. That's all right. After so much success, I can cop it after 1 year.
Yeah, well, buddy, I've been copping it every year since the Titans have been a team, mate. So you can
Rightly
cop it.
so.
Right. Wow. All right. Well, buddy, you tell me the last time the Broncos won at Suncorp over us, our home ground, basically, and we'll get talking. No, he's not a content creator, guys. He's actually a good friend of mine. He's the only Broncos fan that I actually respect. Seriously. So we're going to be bringing him on today, and we're going to be talking about some 5/8s. What do you think, man? Like, why do you think people care so much about the 5/8 position?
I love the 5/8 position as well. It's changed a lot over the years, and I think with the introduction of the running 5/8, with the introduction of the roaming halfback, you know, back in the day you'd have a half on one side, a 5/8 on the other side. Now that doesn't really come into play as much, I think it's a lot more exciting. And you got bigger bodies now in the 5/8. You know, you look back at Alfie and Kevy, two very small bodies, two very similar players that complement each other. Whereas now you've got those big running 5/8s that just do so much damage and they're so exciting to see.
Yeah, 100%, bro. Yeah, well, I'm keen to get into it. I do actually like just having a quick glance over all the players. So as you guys can see here, we have elite quality, do the job, not that great and unproven. Now we need at least one person in every single one of these, but it pretty much ends up where there's usually like 3 and then 5 and then 2. There's usually quite a lot to do the job and then a couple are not that great. And then there is unproven too. Now, I'm not necessarily too sure about... Oh, no, there definitely is an unproven here. But overall, I think you can clearly tell the difference between 5/8s right now. Like, I think you can clearly tell the difference between the really good ones and maybe the not so great ones. Would you agree?
100%, man. And I'm not even saying not that great, but I think it's more towards the unproven, not that great, and the big gap towards that quality in elite player. I don't think there's many elite. I do think there's a few quality, and then there is a fair few unproven, in my opinion.
Now, guys, just quickly before we get into this, these are the predicted lineups. Now, I was actually just on a live stream with Clarky, and apparently Keary, is going to be moving into the 7 this year. So with Walker going in, Sam Walker going into the 6. So unfortunately, we've actually got Keary here, so we're going to be judging him as a 5/8. But apparently, he might be moving and probably is moving into the halfback position this year, which is up to you guys whether you think is good or not, but he will be in this list here. But let's get into it, and the first one off the blocks here, we've got the Tigers, mate. Now, the Tigers are an interesting team, and it's Adam Douehi. What do you think about Mr. Douehi?
Man, I rate Adam Douehi. I rate him very highly, but I rate him as a fullback. I do know that he's played 5/8 in his younger years. I've never seen him, so for me, I had to put it purely for that. I had to put him as an unproven.
Did he play 5? Did he play any 5/8 last year?
I think he played bits and pieces, but he was an out-and-out fullback. So, yeah, I rate his quality. I rate his ball running. I rate his decision making, and I suppose a fullback is nearly a second 5/8 now, anyway. But yeah, for the pure fact.
Yeah, kind of actually. Yeah, you're not wrong there, actually.
Yeah. So, but for that fact, man, I just had to put him as an unproven.
Yeah, look, I wouldn't necessarily disagree with you. I think that overall, I don't think I would be putting him, if I was to say as a 5/8 right now, I probably would put him towards that not great, do the job. But I will agree with you on unproven because I haven't seen anything really. You know what I mean? I haven't really seen anything to base anything off besides, you know, what you just said and the fact that a fullback, I guess, is somewhat of a similar position nowadays to what the 5/8 brings. He's just a lot further back and a lot more of a roamer, I guess. So it'll be interesting to see how he goes. But look, I don't think we're going to see a great deal from him overall in that position. I think there's much better 5/8s to choose from right now. But yeah, we'll throw him into the unproven. Now, I'm going to let you have the next one here, and I'm going to give you a warning, Adam. I'm going to give you a warning. As a Broncos fan, if you even think about putting Anthony Milford anywhere near elite, I'm going to hang the Zoom call up right now, and I'm going to ban you from Suncorp Stadium.
Mate, if you had asked me 6 years ago, he would have been up there in elite. And honestly, I would have been trying to make him my best mate. I love the bloke. Over the past 3 years, his form hasn't been that great. I mean, but he is playing off a very young pack. He's playing off a very inexperienced team. I just don't think he's done enough as a leader for that. I can't say he's unproven because he is proven.
He's definitely had enough games to be in a category, yeah.
But I at the moment, based purely off last year's form, I'd have to put him in not that great.
I would probably, look, 2015, he was great. I really loved watching Anthony Milford. I thought he was the next big thing. You know, I remember him kicking a field goal, I think, against the Cowboys. And that at that moment, I was like, wow, that was the peak of the Cowboys-Broncos rivalry that everyone was really getting behind.
That was 2016. That was the next game after we lost the grand final.
Okay, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, but that was peak Anthony Milford.
Yeah, that was peak Anthony Milford. That was the peak Queensland rivalry between those two teams. And I feel like that's obviously somewhat retracted nowadays because both teams are struggling. But in regards to Milford, I think that, yeah, for now, right now, I think he – do you think he does the job low end, though? Because, he does have the ability to break a game open. He doesn't do it that much anymore, though. No. But, overall, I still think he has enough to put him in very low and do the job. But you could put him in not that great. So it's tough for me, bro.
It's a tough one, man. Look, he's more than capable to do the job. But for me, over the last season at least, I don't think he's proven that he can do the job consistently. So for that reason only, I'd put him not that great. Either way, though, I think you can argue either way.
I'll agree with not that great, simply because you're the Broncos fan. So I guess I've watched pretty much every Broncos game anyway, because I love to stream the games just for the Broncos fans, just to talk shit, to be honest with you. But no, I think, look, I think you can definitely agree with not that great. And he can improve. We can see him do well this year. But
I'd love him to.
Yeah, he's just a very difficult one to get a read on based on what we've seen. But next up is another really difficult one, actually, is Ash Taylor. Now, I'm a Titans fan. We've gone Brisbane to Gold Coast, and this is a tough one because obviously for many years now, he's had a lot of off-field issues, and he hasn't really done too well since that 2016 season. They were really doing well, actually, with Tyrone Roberts when he was there, and he wasn't doing too badly with Kane Elgey, but in the same sense, he hasn't lived up to the potential so far. However, I think that this year he's going to have a pretty decent year with the team that's around him. I think that he has the potential to be quality, but I'd put him in right now, high end, do the job. I wouldn't be putting him in quality.
I'm going to disagree with you, man. I think he's quality, and I've always had a lot of I've always rated him quite highly.
Would you say right now, though?
Based off the back end of last year, yes.
Oh, fair enough.
I think him playing with Jamal Fogarty, I think he's taken a lot of the pressure off him. And I loved watching him, man. I loved that run they went on. I loved what he did for the club. I loved what he did for the fan base. I mean, it was good to see him climb the ladder a little bit and actually have another 2 or 3 rounds. I think they would have made the 8.
A full season, the Titans make the 8, in my opinion. Yeah.
And I think it's based off him and Fogarty. So if Fogarty plays that game again, I think Ash Taylor, it's a lot less pressure. Ash Taylor, he's under so much pressure with the money he was on, and him really being the sole general of the team. I think having a 6 on his back and a halfback to lead him around, I think he's going to improve a lot again this year. Yeah, and I hope for his sake, if Cameron Smith comes to the club, I think you'll see him in the top 2 or 3 halves in the game. I really do.
Gee whiz. I love what you said there, man. And this is coming from a Broncos fan because I know that a lot of people who are watching this video are going to straight up put him in not that great. I know it. It's just what people do, to be honest with you. I would still personally put him top end, do the job for now. Just from what I've seen. But I think that you're right in regards to this year, he will be quality. But I think because I gave you Milford and not that great, we'll chuck him there. We couldn't change it around depending on how we see fit. We'll change it around maybe later. Alrighty. So moving on now, we'll go into Mr. Munster. We got Cameron Munster here. I think you just straight up right now have to put him in elite, man.
This is cut and dry, man. He's elite. He is money Munster. In my eyes, he's the GOAT at the moment. I love the bloke. He's elite on the field. He's elite off the field. Chuck him there.
He does. Yeah, he doesn't mind drink too. He's a goat off the field as well.
That's exactly right, man.
He's a great bloke, and yeah, he brings so much to the Queensland team. He brings so much to the Storm, and he's still. How old is he? He's still relatively
I think he's around 27, 28.
Yeah, so he's still not old. You know what I mean? Like he's still got a few years left in him, which is great to see. Like he's like in the prime of his career, which is perfect. So the Storm have definitely locked in a guy there. And as you guys saw with Queensland, like gee whiz, you can't say no to that. Now next up we have Chanel Harris-Tavita. Where would you put him, man? I'd probably say maybe Unproven.
Look, I did have him in Unproven, but I wouldn't mind. He's a tough one for me because I've seen him play some very quality games. I've seen him. His defence, in my opinion, is right up there with some of the best halves and 5/8 in the game. He's a heavy hitter and he's very busy in defence, which I like. He doesn't hide too much, so I think that may have a bit of effect on his attack. But I'd like to put him in not that great, and I'd even like to put him in do the job. But the only reason I can't do that is because the Warriors haven't been doing too great over the last few years, and if you got a 5/8 that's going to do the job consistently, then your team should be reaping the rewards of that. And unfortunately, they're not. So I'd put him in not that great, but again, you can put him in Unproven because he is still young, he's still developing as well. I'd say 2018 was his debut. Maybe 2019.
I think that this year is going to be the year for him, to be honest with you, to prove himself. That's why I'd still put him in Unproven. I think that he's still quite young, and the Warriors, obviously, this year, they've got kind of a lot going for them. Do I think they're going to do too much? Not necessarily. He's only 21 years old, you know what I mean? So,
that's fair.
I think it's pretty fair to chuck him into Unproven, but in the same sense, this will be the year whether we see he's not that great or if he can do the job or he can be quality with the team that's around him because people are really rating this Warriors team going forward.
Oh, man, I'll be interested to see him behind his forward pack. That they lay the platform, man, and a big forward pack can make a lot of difference. With Fanua Blake there, I'm really excited to see how he can play off the back of him.
And also to Avasa Sheck's final year, so they're going to be bloody playing hard for him. Next up, we'll go with Cody Walker, mate. What are you thinking?
All right, mate. Cody Walker was a difficult one for me too. I really, really like him. Obviously not when he's wearing the sky blue, but in week-to-week club footy, I love what he brings to the game, especially in such an era of structured football. I love how he plays off the cuff. I love how he plays eyes up footy. I love his energy. That origin performance he put in this year in game 2, I think was that, and Nathan Keary was a real
unreal
game changer for New South Wales.
Yep.
And I think he'll be there again next year. I've got him in elite, but I probably quality.
I've got him very top end quality. I think that he's I wouldn't put him on the Munster level just yet. I wouldn't necessarily say that I would, if like there was a draft nowadays, I wouldn't take Walker anywhere near Munster in regards to that, but he's still one of the primo. I was about to say primo, and then I got confused. But he's one of the prime guys in this competition. I love what he does bring. His attacking flair is awesome, but I still wouldn't put him in the elite category just necessarily. Yep. Now this year is going to be a big year because the Rabbitohs have a fantastic lineup. They're favourites for a reason. So if he is going to be a guy that we can put in elite, we're going to see it this year. So maybe next year we'll obviously come back and be like, well, it's his time now. We chuck him in the elite.
100%. And a late bloomer too, man. Like just a good all around NRL like rugby league story. So he's probably in the prime or on the decline off his prime now. So he's got 3-4 maybe years to really prove himself, and I think he's more than capable. So I'm excited to see him this year too.
Yeah, we get to see him this weekend too in the Indigenous game, which should be great to see. But next up, we got Corey Norman, mate. We got Corey Norman. Now for me, man, I personally put him. I'd put him right now below Milford.
I agree. Potential wise, very similar. Darren Lockyer left the club. He was touted as the next Darren Lockyer. He was the next big thing.
Yeah.
He has quality, man. He's got a kicking game. He's got defence. He's got beautiful ball skills. But consistency is just not there, and a lot of the times he kind of lacks that desire too.
And you can't even guarantee he's going to get a spot in this team as well. You know what I mean? Like they still don't even know whether they want him in that spot, and that tells you everything you need to know about what they think about him in this position. So I think he had the potential. I just don't think he lived up to the potential, and unfortunately, this Dragons team, man, isn't going to help him.
No, bang on, man. Bang on. Look, and again, man, I'd love to be wrong because I rated him quite highly a few years back.
Yeah.
Even when he made his Origin debut, I was still rating him pretty highly. And I'd love for him to bounce back, man. Everyone loves a bit of a redemption story, but I just don't see it. I just don't see it happening, and I'd have to agree with you.
Yeah, no, 100%. Well, let's move into Dylan Brown here from the Parramatta Eels. I look, this is tough for me because I think he's a quality player. I think I would put him in quality, but I also don't want to necessarily put him next to Cody Walker. And the thing is that I think he's better than do the job, in my personal opinion. What would you say?
Yeah, I agree, man. This is a tough one for me too because he's young, he's quick. I just don't think he's consistent enough yet. But that comes with age, man. The more experience he gets, the more consistent he will be. I got to admit, I didn't believe the hype originally.
Yeah.
But he did have a blinder against the Bronx, unfortunately.
Wasn't that hard last year, though?
Nah, I'm talking about the big one the year before.
Oh, true. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. You know the one, mate. You reminded me.
I was there. The brilliant one, the best one I've ever seen in my life. Yeah, I vlogged it.
So
right.
he had a blinder, and that really, as much as it broke my heart, really opened my eyes to him as well. So I'd agree, man. I do think he is quality, but I just think he needs that consistency to actually cement himself as quality. So I've got him and do the job at the moment.
Okay, well, we've kind of both swapped, because that's the thing. Like, I don't want to put him next to Cody Walker, but in the same sense, I do think he's quality enough to be in that. I think that, look, we'll put him compared to what we have left in regards to quality.
Like him in quality, I reckon.
I don't think there's many other guys here that I would necessarily put in quality from what I'm seeing so far. I can see who I'm going to put in elite, and I can see who I can put in do the job, but I don't know if there's going to be many people just in general quality for me. So I think we could probably put him at the bottom end.
Yeah, you could put him in the bottom. I've got a couple for quality, but in saying that, they're teetering as well. So
yeah, we'll leave it at that. We'll leave it at that for now. And the thing is, we could that's the thing. We originally had Taylor at the bottom end too. I think it's good that we've got him at the top end just for now. But next up, I think we got Jackie Wighton. I think that's pretty obvious where you got to put him, though, man.
That's clear cut, man. That's clear cut for me. He's elite.
Yeah, he's 100% elite. Would you put him above Munster?
No, I wouldn't. Look, I might be biased because I'm a Queenslander, but I wouldn't purely because he doesn't have that. He doesn't have the experience and the game breaking ability of Munster at the moment. The crazy thing about Wighton is he is an out and out fullback. He's played 2 years of 5'8", and that was 3 years of 5'8".
But he's been absolutely unbelievable while he's been there.
He has been unbelievable, man. And I heard a podcast recently with Ricky Stewart who said the only reason he put him there was because of his defensive abilities, and his attack would come. And I think his attack was one of the best in the comp. So
it's been unreal. Well, he won the Dally M. Like there's a reason why he won the bloody Dally M, mate.
Exactly. So he's elite in my eyes, man. He's only going to get better. So he's only young. That's the scary thing, and I think that's the scary thing for Queensland. If they choose to put him in the 6 rather than in the 7, I think he can make it.
New South Wales, that's New South Wales, though, bro. Like that's New South Wales. They don't know what they're doing. They have a winning team and they'll change it the next week. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like they just don't know what they're going on down there in Bluesland, eh? Let's move on here to Jake Averillo. Now this is between two for me. Now, I think he has a heap of potential, but in the same sense, I would argue right now I'd probably put him in unproven. I would say the only reason I would nearly put him in not that great is because he has a lot of injuries for such a young age, but I would put him in unproven, but he has a heap of potential that I could definitely see him. I could see him top end do the job at the end of the year, but for the time being, I'd put him unproven. And that's if his 100%. Injuries don't absolutely smash him.
No, 100%, man. I agree. Young, energetic, great skill set, just unproven for me. But again, the Bulldogs have made some big changes this year, and I think it's. Look, I don't see him making the 8, but
you can't hide in a team with. You can't hide when you're in the halves positions and you've got a team that really needs your direction this year with the Bulldogs. Like it's going to be this year is going to tell us exactly what kind of player he is, and if he can handle the pressure of being in a team that is coming through. I guess this year I have him next year coming through, but they'll still improve this year, in my opinion.
Yeah, I see him improving this year, and I see him being a big part of that. So yeah, I've got him unproven, but that could change 100%. Definitely by the end of the year.
Yeah. Well, next up we've got Jarome Luai. For me, I'd put him in quality. I couldn't be putting him in elite. He's very young, but I've got to put him in quality. No way would I put him anywhere lower.
No, 100%. Got him in quality. man, love him as a player, and I love the old school chat he brings on the field. You can see he's having a lot of fun out there. He has a lot of digs at the bigger boys, which I think, I love that niggle.
That's what Australians love to see, man. Just have a crack
exactly
and,
right,
and
man.
have a laugh,
that's
man.
part of being in the halves, to get under the skinnier opposition. I think he definitely does it. He gets under the skin of me when the Panthers are playing the Broncos. And that's all part of it, man. I love him. The energy he brings and that young team, the confidence he's got for a young guy, unbelievable. So, yeah, quality, 100%.
The thing is, I said at the beginning of the video, man, I said he's 5'8's enigmatic, and he is definitely enigmatic. Like, you just don't know what he's going to bring, but he's going to bring quality, but you don't know kind of in that quality what he's going to do on the field. And I just love it. I personally, if I'm taking right now, I'm doing a draft, I'm still putting Luai probably below Walker because of the overall belief in what's going on right now. But I personally would take what I know from Luai over Walker.
Yeah, well, at the moment, man, it's hard not to. They made the grand final last year, and that was due a lot to the fact of him and Nathan Keary playing together. Man, I love the fact that he can play to structure, and I love the fact that he can then play eyes up, and throw the structure out and just play what he sees. I think that's the indication of a true champion 5'8", and I'd 100% keep him in quality.
Yeah, 100%.
And man, if he stays like this, couple of years time.
He could be elite. He could be 100%. Elite in my opinion. Yeah, it's potential, but in the same, I hate the word potential, but in the same sense, he has the potential to be elite. So we'll leave him in quality for now, though. But next up, we have Kieran Foran. I think if you were talking to me about 8 years ago, I'd be putting him in top end of quality, but I'd probably be looking more so at do the job right now.
Man, I've got him in not to stay great, and that's
fair enough. I wouldn't disagree with you, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and I'm with you, man. 8 years ago. Him and Douehi Terry Evans at Manly, prime. He's got hit with injuries, made some bad decisions, in my opinion, of signing. The injuries, man, I do feel sorry for him.
Thing is, though, he really helped the Bulldogs last year. Like, he was still their best player despite the fact that they struggled.
His experience is great, but I think now he's at the back end of his career. With that many injuries, man, experience can only take you so far in an evolving game with all these new rules that are coming in. I'd love to be wrong, but I don't see him being able to keep up.
Yeah, look, I think that's fair enough, especially going into this season. I think that I would look. We've got the only player who do the job right now is Ash Taylor, and I just wouldn't necessarily put Kieran Foran there with Ash Taylor right now. But like we said, to everyone out there who's a Manly fan, and I guess Dogs fans who probably still keep in touch with Foran, he's at the end of his career now, so I can definitely understand. I'd put him above Milford though for now.
Oh, 100%.
Because at least he gets somewhat consistency, I guess. You know what I mean? Like Milford's just so
and he has that big game experience that he is assisting those younger players. Where I think Anthony Milford's improvement needs to come by showing a bit more leadership to the young guys.
Yeah, bingo, spot on. Next up, Kurt Mann, man. What are you thinking?
I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of the Knights in general. I think they got a young, exciting team. A bit inconsistent, but I think he is he's on his way to being a really good half. I've got him in do the job, but that's just me.
I wouldn't have been putting him in not that great, and I wouldn't be putting him in quality. I was going to say do the job.
Yeah, that's what
compared to what we've got. Yeah.
Yeah, I want him to do the job, man. But I think he's an onward and upward half as well. And he's one of the ones that excite me.
I have my doubts about the Knights this year, but in the same sense, I could definitely see them doing well too. I could definitely see them doing well. But after the Titans obviously walloped 36-0 to end the season last year, and then they went into the finals and they got walloped after leading the Rabbitohs by 20 and ended up losing by like 20 or 30, whatever it was. Unfortunately, I'm not too sure how to take him. But with Kurt Mann, I definitely put him into the job. Where would you put him above Taylor or below Taylor?
Below Taylor.
I would agree.
Below Taylor.
I would agree. But at least there's definitely positive signs there. Look, the Knights are a very odd team this year. I'd put him 7 to 12, somewhere around that point. I've seen people putting him in third, which I think is crazy. But,
I don't think you can do that based on last year. But I've got him for probably not. I'd love to say 8, probably not for 10.
100% around that area. Next up, we've got Keary, mate. Keary. Like I said, he probably will be playing 7 this year, but he's in the 6 right now, and that's where we know him from anyway. Because I guess if you put him in the 7, would you probably put him unproven anyway?
Yeah, in the 7, man, I still rate him. He's the kind of player that plays a 7 and a 6 role very, very similar. He's not a big body. You know, he's not a quick electric kind of player like an old Milford or a Jarome Luai or anything like that. He's a general. He can play eyes up, and he does have the ability to beat the inside defender. But I'd have him probably the same for both positions. But I've got him in quality. You could probably punch that down to do the job.
That's a big call considering he's a 3-time premiership winner.
I've got him in quality, man. I don't have him in elite, and I don't think he'll be pushing himself into elite this year. He's got a history of concussion.
I think where I would
is always a big question mark.
I think where I would put him, man, I'd put him in quality too, because I wouldn't want to put him alongside Munster and Wighton right now. I wouldn't be able to put him there. But in the same sense, career-wise, he's elite considering he's won 3 premierships. But in the same sense,
his credentials definitely. I think the big question mark is on his defence.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, no, I agree. I personally, right now, I would probably still take Luai and Walker over him.
100%. 100%.
I think that's the controversial one that people will disagree with in the chat, but in the comment section. But I love it. You know, that's
Plus
great.
He turned his back on Queensland. I hold a grudge.
Yeah, you buddy. Well, may as well put him in not that great. He's the bottom and not that great. No, I'd still put him above Dylan Brown though for me. 100%. Literally 100%. But I think obviously, guys, let us know in the chat what your opinion is of that, because I guarantee you we're going to get slapped up by that. But let's move on to Scotty Drinkwater, mate. This guy, is he at the Cowboys still, or has he gone? I swear he was going somewhere.
No, he's still there.
So what are you thinking about Scotty Drinkwater?
Again, man, rate him as a young player. His performance in the Nines, when was that? Not last year before.
Well, there was one last year, wasn't there? Wasn't there a Nines last year? The Dragons won it in the end, didn't they? No.
Yeah.
No, Cowboys.
His performance in that opened my eyes to him. And I rate him, man. He's got a really good short kicking game, which is underrated, I think. Doesn't get talked about much, but he's got a very, very good short kicking game. And his ability to beat the inside defender to create an overlap is also really good. Does he have the experience to be moving up too high? I don't think so yet.
I'd be putting him to the job for now.
I've got him to do the job, man. I would have loved to have seen him playing alongside Jonathan Thurston, even just for a season, like on full-time footy. But, you know, it is what it is. But I've got him to do the job.
Yeah, 100%. Look, I'm actually being irked right now by putting I'm looking at the 3 guys there in equality, as in Keary, Luai, and Walker, and I'm feeling like Brown's a little bit kind of out of the ordinary there. I feel like Taylor is definitely fit for do the job, and I think that there's no way you'd put Scott Drinkwater right now, for me, above those guys, in my opinion. But then again, like, I guess people are going to argue that Taylor's been, you know, I don't think they would have watched too much of the Titans last year to have a good idea of what he's actually starting to bring. But I personally right now put him below Taylor.
I agree, man. I agree. But I think I personally class Taylor as quality.
Yeah, I agree with you. I do. But I also want to see this year. This year is the year that I want to see from him to prove that 100%. For me. But Drinkwater, I think slightly under Taylor. I'd put him above. Would you put him above Mann?
Yeah, I put him above Mann.
Yeah,
both very exciting players though.
Yeah, I think 5'8's actually quite difficult here, man. I think like actually putting them into their positions are quite difficult, but it's good.
Yeah, the elite for me was easy.
Yeah. 100%.
The rest of it's been the struggle.
Yeah, 100%. Well, next up, and the last one, we've got a man who I actually really, really enjoy watching. I love watching a bit of Shaun Johnson action. He obviously pulls that team along at the Sharkies. I don't necessarily believe him and Chad work too well together. I think they did a few years. How long's he been there, actually? I think the first year they worked kind of okay together, but I'm not a necessarily big fan right now. But I love Shaun Johnson. I'd definitely be putting him in quality.
Injuries have hampered a couple of seasons, but when he's on, he's on. And when he's on, he's a game changer. So you can't put him I don't think you can put him any less than that. Because when he is on, he is one of the form halves, and he can turn nothing into something. So
yeah, he pulled that Warriors team along to a grand final, man. I know they didn't win, but in the same sense, he pulled them along, and you know he still really. If it wasn't for Shaun Johnson last year, like he really helped that attack. Like his assist was just incredible. Like he just pulled that Sharks team along, and they're not exactly the Sharks team we know from 5 years ago when they won the comp in 2016. So for him to be doing what he's doing, he has to be in quality. I just don't know if I probably would put him below Keary, above Brown, simply because of his injuries and the fact that he can still be quite inconsistent at times too.
Yep. No, I agree. But when he's on, man,
when he's on, he could honestly
he's got one of
be
the best cutout balls in the game.
Yeah, 100%. No, I agree. So, yeah, man, I'm looking at this and we've actually rated this really evenly. Now, I think people will obviously have their opinions, but I think we've rated this really evenly. And I could look. I'm just looking at Brown, man.
Yeah,
I'm just looking at Brown. Should we put him bottom end of quality or top end do the job? Because I just don't know if he fits with Shaun Johnson, Luke Keary, Jarome Luai, and Cody Walker.
No, I've still got him top end to do the job. But look, man, like you said, I think outside of Wighton and Munster, I think the rest people will be able to debate quite heavily.
Oh,
I think
easy.
Those two are a lock. I think the rest were quite difficult. But yeah, I'd have Dylan Brown for me top end to do the job.
Yeah, and you had Taylor bottom end, or quality. Yeah, but you definitely have him bottom end of quality. You wouldn't put him above Shawnee J right now anyway, or Jarome Luai or anything like that. But look, I think so. I've moved Brown to top end to do the job, but that was good, man. I think it was good. I think that was difficult, but it was good. Like you said, the elites were relatively easy, but just everyone outside of that, it's just so interchangeable. But no, I like it. It's probably the most well-rounded as well out of all the lists we've done so far. We're leaving it with this, guys. We're leaving with this. I can't wait to see your comments. Let us know down below what your thoughts are and where you would have your players in. Obviously, massive shout out to Adam for jumping on here, man. Appreciate you coming on.
Too easy, brother.
Well, we're going to get to a vlog this year. Well, he's actually, if you guys haven't already seen, we went to, what was it, Broncos Bulldogs a couple of years back?
Yeah, Broncos Bulldogs.
Yeah, that's right.
We won with the penalty goal on the side.
No, that was bullshit. I remember that. Yeah, that was. Didn't we also go to the one where Jermaine Asako broke open, scored a try last second or something like that, or extra time or something like that? He stepped a few guys.
No, we didn't. I was
at that
working
game
that night, but I spoke to you afterwards.
Yeah, that's right.
The Roosters.
That was against the Roosters. Yeah, he faked a field goal, I think it was, and he just stepped inside. Yeah, but we'll obviously be getting him along for some of the Broncos games this year. But guys, that's going to do us for today. So obviously, if you haven't hit that thumbs up button yet, go and smack the thumbs up button. Subscribe if you're new around here. What have we done so far? We've done hookers with Clarkey, front rows with Clarkey. We did fullbacks with Paddy G. Rugby league, in my opinion, we did wingers, and Entertain House, we did centres. So we've still got a few more. So lock, coach, halfbacks, and second row forwards. So we've got 4 left here, guys. Appreciate you guys as always. Smack that bloody ding-a-ling-a-ling notification bell, and I will see you guys next time. Alrighty, guys. Thanks for watching. Catch you later. See ya.